So hello everyone, this is Robbie Jane and this is the continuation about the discussion of Norfabalaje. And I will be discussing about the analogical processes and transfer of learning. Number 12, analog. It is a referent or equivalent cognitive information in the brain what can easily be accessed or mapped when needed. Analogical process or thinking refers to our ability to perceive and use relational similarity. In addition, analog is a thing or person that is like something else in some ways. Example: a cherry is red, sweet, and is a fruit like an apple. So a cherry is an example of an analog to an apple. Number 13. Analogical reasoning, a method of information processing that requires the comparison of related features between the old and new concepts and information. Processing develops by identifying the new idea to be learned target domain. So why is analogical reasoning is important? So, analogies can serve a variety of functions. They may provide us with an opportunity to form new inductive inferences about a novel situation. Such is the case in scientific studies. Analogies can also be used to help convince, clarify, or to inform us. Example: to argue with analogy is to argue that because two things are similar, what is true of one is also true of the other. Such arguments are called analogical arguments or arguments by analogy. Here are some examples. There might be life on Europa because it has an atmosphere that contains oxygen just like the Earth. So here's the analogical processes including the following. Number 14. Retrieval. Prior similar or analogous material may be retrieved from long-term memory system. So what is retrieval? So it is the act of getting something back or of accessing stored data and files in a computer. As an example of retrieval is when you lose your keys down an elevator shaft and you get your maintenance man to help you to get them back. Number 15. The mapping. This involves discovering which elements of the novel problem corresponds to elements in the stored analog. Representational structures must be aligned with each other. Number 16. Access. Access involves retrieval of a familiar analog or other information from long-term memory when represented with a novel problem. 17. Representation. This involves the adaptation of one or both representation to improve image. So, representation is the act of speaking on someone's behalf or depicting or portraying something. Example number 1. When a lawyer acts on behalf of a client, this is an example of representation. And example number 2. When you make a drawing of your mother that is meant to look like her, this is an example of a representation of your mother. Last, 18. Evaluation involves at least the three kinds of judgments. First, the structural soundness. Second, factual correctness. And third, the relevance. To evaluate is to define as to judge the value of worth of someone or something. So here's the example of evaluate. When a teacher reviews a paper in order to give it to a grade. Second, to draw conclusions from examining. And third, to assess it will help and that takes several years to evaluate the material gathered in the survey.